So the Victrix Pro BFG is a controller that I personally have had for about 4 months now. It's something that is one of the big three when it comes to professional or pro level controllers for the PlayStation 5. Because you have this, you have PlayStation's own DualSense Edge controller, and you have Razer's Wolverine V2. And they are the top of the line other than, looking at options such as like Scuff and, those kind of controllers. But if you're looking for primary retail, something that people can walk into Best Buy or to, go straight on Amazon and get, it's going to be any of these three. Now, I wanted to do a video talking about how this is, held up 4 months later, because I know the general public pretty much got theirs in February, early to mid-February, whereas I've had mine since November-ish, if not late October. And so I want to talk about how this still is. So before we dive into any of that, if you guys do me a huge favor, all the stuff that YouTube likes, if you enjoy the content I put out, make sure you like the video, sub to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to reach some milestones here, and share it around to someone you think would enjoy it. So with all of that out of the way, let's talk about the Victrix Pro BFG. Okay, so in the time that this has come out, we've had the two competitors. We've had the first one being Razer's Wolverine V2, which came out roughly about, I want to say December, January. And then we had in early January, we had the DualSense Edge controller come out. And that was something that I had for about a month before that came out. And I thoroughly enjoyed that one. And when it comes to the build quality between the three controllers, so we're specifically looking at the Victrix Pro BFG, this is the cheapest feeling one. This is made out of plastic. I can't, really deny that the build quality on this in comparison to even, the Fusion line from PowerA, I think I have a Fusion controller right here. Like, this is built far better than this is, which is an absolute shame. This is all plastic, and it feels better than, I'll say, like, it definitely feels better than this one right here from Turtle Beach, which this is a great controller. I use this as my secondary setup, but this is the cheapest out of the three. It's made out of full plastic. It's I do worry about the durability of it. Like, if I were to drop this, would it crack or break easily? Like, I'm terrified whenever my toddler comes around it, because it feels, cheaply made. It doesn't feel like something that would or should cost $179 or $189. It doesn't have that premium feel, even when you put this up against the other controller from Victrix, the one that they made for the Xbox. The name escapes me right now, but I'm gonna show you it right here. But it basically doesn't feel even as good as that, and that's a little worrying. I think the other thing too, if we're going to go into the build quality of it, break down some of the technology that's built inside it. I know a lot of people have asked over the months, like, does this have rumble? Does it have gyro? Does it have the capability of utilizing haptic feedback? No, it doesn't have gyro, it doesn't have haptic feedback, and it doesn't have rumble in it either. So this is purely one that if you're going to be going between PlayStation 4, 5, and PC and Steam Deck. This is purely for that, but for the games that do require haptic feedback and gyro, I mean, you're just not going to be able to play them with this controller. So that's just one thing to get out of the way. But for what it is, I mean, it's still decent. It's just, that's one of the main downsides. So I'm curious as to why that is not in here. I'm wondering why they couldn't have put that in there when they, you would think that they would, but it's not there. The other thing about this controller is I've seen people complain about the build quality in the sense of like how everything feels overall. Now, I don't mind, like the anti-slip grip areas, but a lot of people don't seem to really like them. And yeah, it does feel like an expensive toy. I just had to be honest about that. I do like the buttons. I think the buttons are very high quality. I like the responsiveness of these buttons. And then when you use the fight pad, you got the micro switches on those buttons. I actually like that layout, and I like the capability of switching, where if I want the analog sticks, lined up in the PlayStation style or perpendicular like the Xbox and the Switch layout is. I definitely like the capability of going back and forth, and the 3 different D-pads. Like, you got the dome one, you've got this one, which is your standard cross shape, and then you've got another one, which is, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. I just personally stick to using this, and I think for me, for the use cases that I have for this controller, I play fighting games and I play shooters. So for me, playing Call of Duty with this, or if I'm playing Street Fighter, King of Fighters, or any other fighting game, I don't have any issues using this. Plus, I love how long the battery life on this is. This has probably the best battery life out of all 3 Pro options that are available on the market. But yeah, I can't really complain about this at all. Like, as far as battery life and the way the buttons and stick and everything like that feel, they feel great. But the overall build quality, I kind of wish they would have made it out of probably the same material as the Fusion controller. I got both Fusion controllers, the Fusion 1 and Fusion 2, and I wish this had that same build quality. But as far as the aesthetic goes, I mean, it matches with the Victrix aesthetic. Like, I had another Victrix product over here, but they go for the black and purple look, so it looks like a Victrix device. So if you've got a headset and you paired with it, it works fine. Now, the connectivity being wireless via the 2.4 gigahertz dongle that comes with it, or doing a wired connection. I primarily play wired. It's kind of rare for me to play with a controller being wireless, but for either way, the option is there. I do know that I haven't had any instances of like severe latency or lag or input delay when I'm playing on my PlayStation 5 or even the PlayStation 4. It works perfectly with both of those. But what I have noticed is when I use it with the Steam Deck, there is occasional times where there is some lag and latency. I don't get that when I connect it directly to my gaming laptop that I'm using right here, or my gaming desktop that's in the other room. But with the Steam Deck, there's occasions where the connection will drop. And if I put it in PC, it constantly drops. But if I put it on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, which is part of the system selector on the top, then it automatically just works. Like, there's no issues. Occasionally I'll have 1 or 2 drops in PS4 mode as opposed to PS5, but other than that, it perfectly works fine. So I don't have any real issues with that. As far as like the swappable sticks, so you can go however you want. If you want tall, medium, short, they have that. Now, I will complain as far as like the dome top one. I accidentally, and I know Gamer Heaven, he actually had the same thing as he talked about in his video too. When I was trying to get that out of the case that came with this controller, I accidentally like dug into it, and it's kind of a permanent groove, and it annoys me because I don't have that on any of my other controllers. But I mean, I can cover it up with Control Freak caps, but out of the gate, just the fact that easily damaged like that really got on my nerves. I'm not sure why they couldn't have used like a better material. So that's just something that annoys me with this controller, and it's minor, but it's kind of not, but it kind of is. But yeah, being able to switch out these sticks, yeah, I like that. The other thing I want to talk about too is a question that has been asked to me, like, if this gets stick drift, what are you going to do about that? Now, you can just, utilize a warranty on it and have them take care of it. They aren't currently selling replaceable modules for this, which is odd. I would think they would have done that already, but they haven't. And it's just weird. Like, I'm like, why haven't you sold replacement modules? If you get the DualSense Edge controller, you can buy replacement modules for $20. Why can't they just make a whole kit for this, left and right, for about $30, right? I don't know why they haven't done that. It's just the general public, interaction between Victrix with this controller has been very strange. I will say, like, I mean, as far as like my contact with them, because yeah, they sent this to me. I haven't spoken to them since they said, "Hey, we're sending it." That's as far as I've gone. But as far as what I've seen, like the communication with people as to like whether they're going to get things sent to them sooner, or the replacement sticks, they haven't been upfront about that. So I don't really know what to say. Like, it's very interesting. You would think that they would be a little bit more vocal, a more forthcoming, more transparent, but they're not. So it's a very interesting thing. And the other thing I guess I can mention is the fact that this has the 2.4 gigahertz. I know I talked about that earlier as far as like wireless. I'm curious as to why they couldn't have put Bluetooth in it. I know they probably would have shortened the battery life and upped the price of this, but I would have liked to have had the option to utilize Bluetooth or USB or wired connection. Like, I don't know why they could not have added that. And if they're gonna, another thing they could have thrown in, gyro, rumble, throw that in there. I mean, if you saw it, you look at the price of the Pro controller market. I mean, the highest is like $250. I mean, they could do $230 and throw all that in, right? And that's just one of the things. Yeah, I don't know why that's missing from this controller. So it's very, very confusing. But everything else, as far as like, the functionality of it, battery life is still great. I'm still getting excellent battery life on this. I'm still heavily using this. Like, this is what I use when I'm in the living room and I'm playing on this PlayStation here. So, and even with my computer, sometimes I'll just plug this up if I don't feel like using, the wired connection for, again, my Fusion controller. So, yeah, no real issues with this one whatsoever. I do like it. I just have to admit that this is the cheapest feeling one out of all of them. And it's interesting, the lack of communication. I think that kind of brings this product down a notch. This had the capability of being the first to the market. It was supposed to be the first controller to the market. And for whatever reason, they decided, hey, we're not going to bring it to market in time. So it is what it is. So, yeah. If I have to recommend to someone, if they're looking at this, or if they're looking at the DualSense Edge, or if they're looking at the Razer, Wolverine V2, it would really come down to, what are you going to use this for? If you're going to use this for fighting games, or if you want any of those three, if you're going to use them for fighting games, I'm definitely going to say get this. This is probably the best hybrid controller. It's a Swiss Army knife controller. It's not the best at everything, but it's better than most at most things. And for fighting games, this is definitely going to be the best one you're going to use. I think for the sake of shooters and your preferred layout, this is going to have the most versatility, plus the ability to go seamlessly between PlayStation 4, 5, and PC. The switch of literally a selector or doing wired connection. So this has the most versatility and utility, plus being able to swap. But if this gets stick drift, use your warranty. If you're outside your warranty, you kind of SOL, because no one's made any like replacement modules for it, because this is very much a Victrix style design. It's not something that is, from what I can tell, easily repairable. But I'm not like, I'm not VCUDA or Gamer Heaven. I'm not someone who can do that level of detail of a breakdown to be able to fix it. But yeah, that's my downside to this, is the feel and the lack of functions. But yeah, for fighters, this is great. For shooters, this is great. Racers, this is great. But anything that's going to utilize haptic feedback, you know, gyro sensors, you're going to be SOL with this. But it has a high compatibility with almost anything you can throw at it. Plus, if not higher, if you include PC. So there's that. If you're looking for the most premium feel, I'm gonna have to give that to the PlayStation 5's DualSense Edge controller. That's the most premium feeling overall, and it just feels like, you know, that's the Maserati or the Bugatti of the controllers as far as like feel and look and presentation. Whereas this is the Journeyman. This is what I'm gonna say. This is a Journeyman controller. And then the Razer one, somewhere in between. It's not bad, but yeah, I would go between this and the DualSense Edge. But those are my thoughts on this controller 4 months later. Still holding up well. I don't have any stick drift. I don't have any issues with this controller whatsoever. And I still use it daily. So what are your guys' thoughts? Do you have the Victrix Pro BFG? Do you have the Razer Wolverine V2? Or do you have the PlayStation 5's DualSense Edge controller? Whatever your thoughts are, let's go ahead and get the conversation going in the comment section down below. If there's anything I missed or anything you want to ask me specifically or something I can do a video on, definitely let me know down in the comment section down below. And if you want to pick this up or any of the others, I will have affiliate links down below. No additional charge to you, but I do get a bit of a kickback. I didn't get paid when they sent, I mean, I guess the payments, technically they sent me the controller, but like I didn't get any financial benefit. But if you use the links, you don't pay any additional and I get a bit of a kickback. So, you know, it's a win-win. Anyway, all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do all the stuff that YouTube likes. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, be blessed. I'll see you around. Peace.